Welcome back to the Junior Mints Podcast. I'm your host, Finn Mintz. Today, what we are going to talk about is something on the more practical side of things. We are actually going to talk about how to start and run your own podcast. Now, the first step to doing anything is just to start. I'm still freshly new at making episodes of a podcast. There's less than 50 episodes. Well, there's probably more now, but my point is just, if you want to start something, just start it. You will thank yourself in the end. So, more on that. So, on the technical side of things, like for a podcast or something, you can either start a podcast like a video podcast or just an audio podcast. Personally, I started as an audio podcast, but it didn't really go well because all it was an audio file edited together with a black screen that just had the words Junior Mints blah 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 on it. So the key, I think, personally, I would recommend, if you guys want to start a podcast of any kind, always get it on camera, because A, you can have it on different platforms. B, it's easier to edit because visually you can see the reactions of like the host or hosts, which brings me to my next point, number 2. People are always concerned. Well, no, I can't say that. I've heard a lot of people say that, you can't do a podcast by yourself and bloody freaking blah blah blah. It's like, no. Those people that say that are not confident in their ability to be on camera or audio. Boom, changed my mind. So my point is, you can, regardless, I guess what I'm trying to say and what I'm going to say is, one person podcasts still work. Look at what's his name? The Joe Rogan podcast, I think. It's only him. And I think it's Joe Rogan. Yeah. Joe Rogan, yeah. Yeah, it's only him. And he's successful too. Well, okay, that depends on what you mean by success, but what I'm saying is it does work. Sure, you have to have, in order for a one-person podcast to work, you have to go into filming the episode knowing what you're going to say. Now, I sometimes go off the cuff a little bit and improvise, although that's not the best thing to do, but it just takes practice. So have an idea of what you're going to say during the show. Also have an idea of what the show is going to be about too. And I believe a good thing that you could do, you don't have to do this, but you could do it, is to kind of have a theme for your show. My show personally is more of my thoughts, opinions, and advice. So yeah, but that's just me. Like, you could have I have a friend who has a sports podcast. I'll link that in the description somewhere, probably. So there's like sports, there's like entertainment, a bunch of stuff. There's advice, which, I mean, mine. So one problem with the variety podcast I figured out is that the direction is kind of like cattywampus, right? The direction in which the podcast can go is kind of cattywampus. So what I recommend is, start making a few episodes if you can, and pick some topics that you can talk about, and see where the niche or niche, whatever and see where the niche goes with that show. I think right now, for me personally, my show is going sort of in the opinions, thoughts, and advice category, which I think is great because I want to help you guys out with what I do, because I want to see you guys succeed. So it's a win-win. So going back to the whole podcast building thing, what are some of the things that you might need for your show? So what you will definitely need, without a doubt, is a microphone. This can be either like a Yeti or like heck, it can be a freaking shotgun mic, which is not recommended, but that's just me. But like a Yeti, a shotgun mic, or you can do you could use a blue. I think it's a blue snowball, which is just like the white microphone with the legs. First and foremost for a podcast, whether it's audio or video, a microphone. Second is optional, is a camera. Like I use my Nikon for my show, and it has worked wonders. So, and let's see, visually speaking, if you're going to do a video podcast, which is easier said than done for sure, you're going to need you're going to need to make your shot look pretty good. Something in the background, not too cluttered, but something there. So I have a ring light right here that kind of shines. And you just need, I would totally recommend you guys making like a studio of some sort. My studio is in my room, so it's like half of my room is my sleeping area and the other half is my studio. I can't ask for better. So some people don't have that though, unfortunately. So just find a place to record, preferably a quiet place, And one last thing on the cameras. So I was recording my show for a while on my laptop. Now, you can definitely do that. However, it would maybe look better, just me. It would maybe look better if you did it on the camera, because then you can excuse me, sync your audio and all that sort of stuff. You can do that. So the next thing about having a podcast is, well, there's two. One is repetition, and the other is distribution. First, repetition. You just got to keep making episodes and stuff like that. Keep producing. Get yourself out there. Get a name. Even if you start from nothing, just start. And just go for it. Who the heck is going to stop you, right? No one. Maybe you in your mind, but other than that, no one. Sure, people may say, you have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. Screw those people, right? You just got to keep pumping out episodes. Just go for it. And once you get a couple and kind of once you get in the swing of things, and you're good. You're just chugging along, pumping episodes out. It's great. So keep doing that, for a long time. The second and final piece of advice I can give you about starting a podcast is distribution. Now, that includes questions like, where am I going to put the podcast and what formats is it going to go in? So like I said before, you can either have a video or audio podcast. Personally, video podcasts, of course, are probably the best to go on YouTube. And audio podcasts are really good to go on to, let's say, I don't know, SoundCloud, Spotify maybe, Apple Music, I should do that. Because I should do that. Anyway, so running a podcast, you have to keep things interesting. You have to have a certain how do I say it? You have to have a certain, what's that word I'm looking for? A certain presence on camera. It took me a while to do that, to just be welcome back, blah, 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 it can be tough, but you kind of have to just go all in, just go for it. You literally have nothing to lose. Nothing. Literally. Running whether it's running a podcast or having a YouTube channel or something, or just anything. Just go for it. If you're afraid of failure, go for it. If you're, that sounds really weird, but if you're afraid of failure, that's only encouraging you to go for it and to just do it. Because it's like, what do you have to lose? Nothing. And you will thank yourself in the end. So, bringing it all back, starting a podcast is a lot of fun. Having it is a lot of fun too, because then you can bring guests onto your show. Like I've had Jeremy on my friend Jeremy on this show. I've had my friend Levi on this show. I think I had a dude named Tim on this show. And it just, the simplest thing you can do is ask. And if they say no, then it's okay. But having guests on your show does help. It's not, some people think that having guests on your show is the main contributing factor to a good podcast. I disagree. I think the good and main contributing factor to having a fun podcast is to have a good idea and lots to talk about. Whether it's by yourself or with another person. If you want to start a podcast, just go ahead and do it. You will be glad and so happy that you did. So, anyway, that is my little spiel on how to run and start a podcast. It's easier said than done, but once you get going, you'll thank yourself and you'll get motivated to keep going. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Junior Mints podcast. Once again, I am your host, Finn Mintz. If you guys liked these episodes and want to see more, click that like button, subscribe down below for videos every Wednesday and Friday, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.